there. And there we go. So 3, 2, and 1. Well, Lance, welcome back. Welcome back to Mayor's Monday, WSAU, WSAU.com. Yes, of course, technically you're not a mayor, but you respond to the county board who is elected. They've got the power to fire you. So in a roundabout way, you qualify.
Well, I appreciate the invitation. Certainly great to be with you, and I think you've laid out who I report to 100% to the county board.
Indeed, indeed. And, things, at least as far as fireworks at county board meetings, it seems like that's maybe died down just a bit, but I mean, there's never really a dull moment here in this office. What do you got on your plate right now? I mean, your desk looks extremely clean, which I will give you credit for, but I'm guessing there's, like a duck, there's certainly some chaos going on behind the scenes.
Sure. I cleaned up before you got here, but
Okay.
I think to the point, the county board has been very, very busy. I think they've given a lot of priorities to staff, and we've been able to accomplish a lot. So to your point, certainly been busy. A lot of things that are happening. A lot of the things are things that people expect to be happening, and certainly in the summer, one of the things you expect to see happening, and maybe people don't really enjoy it all that much, but it's really important. It's road construction. Our county highway department has been very, very active trying to carry out the county board's directive to really maintain our highway system. We have the largest highway system in the county highway system in the state. Pardon the pun, but it's by a mile. We have a lot of highways. And our county board has set a pretty high pavement rating. So if anyone has any questions about road construction, go to our website. We keep that updated with large projects, but you're going to see probably the largest project in terms of overall spend and long-term impact out on County Highway K. Installation of some safety features on that highway. We've really been proactive in seeking out federal funding and other funding sources, but there's certainly a lot of highway work happening currently. I think even this week, County Highway X is closed out in Weston to traffic to allow us to do some resurfacing work. But please look to our website, see where our county highway workers are. And I have one really important request of everyone, a couple of them actually, but when you're going through those work zones, please slow down, put your cell phone down. Our staff are out there doing very important work, and our job one is to make sure they get home safely. So please asking everyone to do that. That said, get out there and enjoy the summer while it's here.
Right.
And watch out for that road construction.
And then that leads to another point as well, because obviously we're still in pothole season. We've seen stories about people bringing light to the number of potholes in the city here recently, but I'm sure for the highway department for the county, they've got that same problem. It just happens to be a little more of a project to get to those potholes to fill them.
Sure. I actually met with our highway commissioner this morning talking about budgeting for 2024. We're already looking several years out, but just even next year, really prioritizing that maintenance that you referred to. And, in the state of Wisconsin, you referenced the city, working with the city, the county, other municipalities, and the state of Wisconsin, because, when you and I drive out on the roadway, certainly you and probably other people, it's not so much, geez, what roadway, who do I need to complain to the state, to the county, to a local municipality? Everyone wants their roads maintained at a high level. So it's really working effectively to get some of those projects that really need to get done, get them done. And then it's not always the complete repaving. It is the pothole management, the crack filling, the fog line sealing, all those things. Really important, and we're on top of that. Our highway department is very busy in the summer. And again, please slow down and put the cell phones down.
Absolutely. And of course, it takes a pretty penny to get all that done. And of course, we've got the wheel tax famously here in Marathon County. We've also got a possibility of increased shared revenue as well. So I guess first off, right out of the gate, would it be possible then, if we end up getting some extra shared revenue from the state, that the county could maybe look at saying we can sunset the $25 wheel tax in a couple of years?
Well, that's a great question. I think I'll start with shared revenue. The exciting thing about shared revenue that is being talked about, it's really twofold. One is that we're looking at updating it, and there was just a bill that made it out of the assembly yesterday. Certainly negotiations going on at the state level. I'm outside the political process. I'm an administrator. My job is to make sure things in Marathon County are working as well as they can. But one of the struggles we have, and every local government has had, is that our revenue streams really haven't grown. There's not an opportunity for growth like there is in other areas, and it hasn't kept pace with inflation. So if you look back even from 2014 to today, our revenue growth has lagged behind that inflation by more than $5 million we've lost in terms of spending power. So the exciting thing about shared revenue, one, it's an increase. Right now it's gone, the Assembly bill moved from 10 to 15% of an increase for local governments, which is great. That's a significant amount of money for Marathon County and all of our local partners. But the other thing is it's also tying that growth to something that grows with the economy, sales tax growth. So linking those things together, I think, is really important for local governments because it gives them something that they really haven't had, and that is the opportunity for revenue to grow over time as the economy prospers. So getting those two things in alignment is really important. With respect to roadway funding and how that interplays with the vehicle registration fee, I mean, the reality for all local governments is that they've been forced to make really tough decisions, and our county board has been willing to make those. There are investments, my sense is there are investments that the county board would want to continue to make. The great thing about that vehicle registration fee, I pay it just like every other Marathon County resident for a vehicle that they have. That money goes directly into transportation, roads and bridges. And we have, like I said, the largest county highway system. We have a great many bridges that fall under our bridge system. And keeping those things maintained at a high level not only benefits every user, every family, every individual, but it's really vital to business. So I think before those conversations about how can we change the revenue streams for transportation, we really need to make sure that we keep at the forefront the commitment, and the county board has been very clear here, keeping that commitment to high quality pavement ratings and an overall system that works really effectively for all the people that live and visit here.
Yeah, so I guess in a sense you're saying you don't want to count your chickens before they're hatched because
Absolutely.
We don't know how much extra this could mean for the county, and yet there is still a laundry list of projects.
Absolutely true. And you know, as we need to resist the impulse that if new money does become available, that we look at it as an opportunity to ratchet back in areas. There are areas that we've been, to benefit the taxpayers, really making very tough choices that perhaps now we can make some very important needed investments in that infrastructure, particularly that roadway infrastructure. You've seen that from the county board over the last couple of years with our building infrastructure. We had gone a great many years without making some significant investments. The county board has made those over the last several years, and I think you'll see in the coming years the real return on investment of those infrastructure investments in terms of buildings.
Yeah, and speaking of buildings, you've got a lot of them in the county.
Yeah.
There's certainly no question about that, whether it's here in Wausau, in downtown Wausau, out just north of Stratford. You've got a highway building
Sure.
out there too. I know one of the things you've kind of been looking on long range is you want to decrease the number of roofs that you're taking care of. Give us an update on how that's gone.
Yeah, it's been going very well. Thank you for asking. To your point, our plan has been, really looking for some opportunities for consolidation, and that's driven by two things. One, it's more efficient for the delivery of services, and second, you alluded to roofs. It's less roofs means less money for ongoing maintenance. Less parking lots means less plowing and less paving. So all those things I think benefit the taxpayer long term. So to your point, we've been looking how can we take advantage of to the greatest extent we can of the buildings we have, and we've been doing a lot of work at our Lakeview Drive campus where North Central Healthcare is located. They've been doing some work. We've been doing work with them to rehabilitate, renovate some buildings, allowed them to take a different footprint, and the county has taken the opportunity to consolidate some other independently sole-sited buildings and relocate those to that campus, which again, fewer parking lots, fewer roofs, better long-term approach. And kind of the large vision for that Lakeview Drive campus has been to move to a health and human services campus. And the county board has adopted that vision. We've taken some really important steps recently to do that. Our social services building on Thomas Street, our social services department earlier this year has relocated now to that Lakeview Drive campus. So in the very near future, if we can do a little bit of work trying to relocate one final tenant we have in that building, we're going to be able to work with the city or others, or however the county board wants to evaluate this, look at redeveloping that parcel. It's a large piece of property on Thomas Street, great for the community, and it benefits the taxpayer. Similarly, the county board recently endorsed a conceptual plan. We're moving forward now with construction planning to further utilize some of that vacated space on our Lakeview Drive campus to relocate some other departments, particularly those that are located on our River Drive buildings. So if you're familiar with downtown Wausau on River Drive, we have a number of buildings, 3 of them, and we're working to have staff relocated from those areas to vacant space within our Lakeview Drive campus. We're developing those construction plans to bring to the county board for their consideration, but they endorsed the conceptual plan. So again, quite a number of opportunities, taking our footprint, our overall county footprint in the metro area, and shrinking it considerably, which get that property back on the tax rolls, better for us operationally, allowing staff to kind of be co-located. You get a lot of better efficiency, allow for better teamwork, and it's long-term more efficient in terms of building maintenance and cost.
And I think the River Drive, you probably had a bunch of developers perking up their ears at that right now, because that's some pretty prime property right there, located near a downtown urban center. It's also located near water, and who doesn't love to be near water, right?
Absolutely. And the city of Wausau has involved us a number of years ago in their South Riverfront planning. And to your point, there are it seems as though there's a lot of people that are interested in what that development can look like. And this allows the county board to really be at the forefront of that discussion.
And for anybody that, is like me, lives in the area of Marathon Park, or even just travels between Wausau and Rib Mountain on 17th Avenue, you've noticed that a rather large county building recently unceremoniously came down, and I think unceremoniously probably on purpose, because a lot of people were right there wanting to be the one to knock down the first brick, right?
Sure. The cold storage building, which we acquired adjacent to Marathon Park. That building we acquired, there was a fire previously, so we acquired it. It's adjacent to some of our other facilities, and it was part of our long-term master plan for our what had been and still is referred to as the west side of the master plan, adjacent to Marathon Park and UW Stevens Point Wausau campus, which are all county buildings. So yes, the county board approved the allocation of funds to take that building down, return it to green space, and that space is part of that overall new west side master plan that was adopted by the county board in February of this year.
So for those of us that have celebrated its demise, and I guess you being one of them as well, because you've got, again, one less building now to take care of that's not worth taking care of. You being the administrator of the county and having your finger on the button, what goes there now for the future?
Well, you might think my finger's on the button. It's not. That's really a county board decision,
right.
And they adopted the West Side Master Plan, which set this vision for that entire parcel. And while that's the vision, there's a lot of little pieces that go into that. And at each stage, the county board has a great opportunity, and that is to continue to evaluate that plan. And all of the capital decisions that need to go into any improvements over there, we're going to evaluate those as they come. So on that kind of strip on West Street, you had the cold storage building, you currently have our highway department, and you also have our medical examiner and emergency management office. We're in the process of relocating our emergency management office. That's relatively easy. It's a staff of 2 people.
Right.
So not a whole lot of work that we need to do. In fact, there's no real new renovation or capital cost that'll come with that. It's just relocating existing equipment. Our medical examiner's office, another big project that's going on is our work on our regional forensic science center. We've had the MORE task force working for about 5 years, trying to really address a longstanding need, not only for Marathon County, but it's all of north central and northern Wisconsin really have to travel a great many miles to avail themselves of these really necessary services for forensic pathology. So developing that project and finding a location which we we have a good plan. We're hoping that the state comes through with some funding, and we get funding from the federal government as well. We've gotten great feedback. If we can make that happen, that's another portion, of that West Street property between the medical examiner's office, cold storage, and then the highway department that allows the county board to really decide how they want to move forward with that West Side master plan.
A lot of moving parts there, but it sounds like we're at least on a good path with a lot of this.
Yeah, I think we've made a lot of good progress. The county board has been busy setting those long range policies for staff to work on. If you've been out to Marathon Park recently, you've seen that there's another capital project going on. A lot of the parking lots and roadways are ripped up under renovation. We're updating the water system. The county board allocated funding to make that happen. So all of these things are directives from the county board. They are the representatives of all of the voting population of Marathon County. And I think they've done a great job of keeping that finger on the pulse, to use your language, of the community to really take those necessary investment steps to make sure that our buildings and our green spaces, the things that we all enjoy, are there for future generations.
Well, we always appreciate the time, Lance, and we'll look forward to chatting again probably before the end of the year.
Absolutely. My pleasure. You have a great rest of your day.
Yep.